This one, I call it predominant armitis, okay? So we all have a predominant arm. We all have a favorite arm, right? How many people are ambidextrous with their mouse? I try that, okay? I do try because I know I have an issue, right? But otherwise, our dominant arm is going to be doing most of the work. That's the arm that's going to have tightness in the forearm, tightness in the shoulder blade, maybe carpal tunnel. That whole dominant arm is going to have an issue. So you can see me. I'm rolled forward in that, right? I'm just moving forward with that arm. So what happens, you guys, is that bones get out of place. So the more often I do this forward movement, I'm getting my shoulder bone, my arm bone, out of the shoulder socket. And this is what happened to me. See that? I actually had my arm bone rolled forward in my socket so much that it got stuck there. That's 30 years of driving a stick shift, 30 years of this, you guys. This is driving a car, right? Well, we used to be taught 10 to 2. Your shoulders are rolled forward. Reading, right? Computer work, anything like this is rolled forward. We want that. So that's why I came to yoga, because guess where my pain was? Shoulder blades, right? Don't you think the right shoulder blade was super tight? Because everything was pulled forward. My neck was out of whack because my bones were out of place. So it took me 2 to 3 years to actually get everything back in line. And I still have to be aware of that. So those are the kind of things that we have to always catch ourselves in. Now, people who have this issue and even more tightness would have what we call frozen shoulder. The inability to move your shoulder in the socket. Everybody do this. Take your shoulder backwards, yeah. Is there any popping, clicking, crunching? Sometimes there is. That could be the start of a little bit of calcification, right? So we're going to do a pose for that today. So that movement is important. So we'll be doing all of these kind of movements. We're going to work on shoulder retraction. The ability to take your arm like this, you guys, is super important. Take one arm like that, all the way back. Your shoulder blade should be popping out in the back of you, right? And then do the other side. And you'll notice that one side might be easier than the other. Usually your dominant arm is going to be tighter, and it'll be harder to do that, right? So we're going to do some shoulder retraction stuff. We're going to do some chest openers. You know how important those are, right? To get everything to open up in the front of you, because this is what we're doing most of the time. And then we're doing a lot of shoulder. ROM means range of motion, which means circular stuff, you know, really kind of creative movements just to get the shoulder joint to move. Okay, so we're going to do something called humerus deviation check. Okay, so you saw the picture of me with my shoulder rolled forward. So this is what it looks like, you guys. Take your arm out in front and bring your arm bone out of the socket forward like this and then down. So the elbow's not bent. Okay, the elbow's not bent. It's this motion. See that? Okay, so this motion is going to cause you a lot of shoulder pain, right? This is the motion that you do when you're working on your mouse. It's going to be that motion when you're doing this, right? When you're gardening, it's all that. As often as you can, bring this thing down. Okay, so now we're going to do a little movement that kind of etches that in so you can kind of see how that works. Take your arms and cactus. Look at both elbows and see if you can get them lined up a little bit with your shoulders. Good. Now, bring your arms up. We're going to do this a little slow. So when you bring your arms up, it's almost like you want to touch your thumbs together. Now, everybody knows what their shoulder blades are, right? Those two little pointy things on the back side of you, they're going to slide. So watch. So here we go. We're going to go down. Elbows are going down. The shoulder blades are sliding. We're going to keep on going, you guys, all the way down so the elbows are down to your waist, as far as you can. Now, that's called the shoulder glide. And if your arms can glide like that, you're in good shape. Because if they couldn't, let's do it one more time. If they couldn't glide up and down like that easily, that's the beginning of frozen shoulder. So you want to be able to have that. Okay, so glide all the way down as far as you can go. Get those elbows to touch. Then bring your hands out in front and turn them down like this, and there's your keyboard. Does your posture feel super nice right now? Right? Catch yourself, right? Because this is what happens. Okay, so right here, shoulder blades in the back. See how that shoulder blade just rolled up and that bone rolled forward in the socket? That's going to happen a lot. So you've got to catch that. Shoulder blades down, arm back in the socket. And then your keyboard's here and your mouse is here. So all of that little function thing, right? Okay, so we're going to do a little shoulder mobility, range of motion, right? So we're going to do that using the trays, a concept of a tray. So we're going to take the hands out like this, like we're holding a tray. We're never going to want to spill the contents of the tray, so that means the palms never flip. They're always facing up. So we're going to reach the tray up, up, up towards the ceiling, and then turn the fingertips in. So a little wrist work as well. Fingertips come in, right? Then we come all the way down, Start at the beginning, and then the fingertips come in towards the belly button, and we're going to pull all the way back, and we're going to straighten out the elbows. Yeah, good. Then we come back in. Okay. So now we're going to incorporate the whole spine in this. So it goes like this. We're going to up. We look up. So this is a back bend. It's an arch. We're looking up, and then we're going to come down. Fingertips in towards the belly. Tuck your chin, round your back, and pull your arms backwards. Yeah. And see if you can move your low back with this one. So inhale, we're up, we're arching. And exhale, we're going and rolling down, tucking the chin. Round your lower back. Really stretch your lower back. Pull it backwards. And one more time. Inhale is up. And exhale, we're fluidly rolling down. Oh, yeah. Good. And then bring it all the way back in front. Hold your tray. Take your elbows and keep them as tight as you can towards your rib cage. And I want you to take them out. Those are your rhomboids. These are the ones that keep your posture super good. Good. And then release it. Shake it out on the floor. So I promise you that this will be a very interesting sensation. I always use the word interesting, which means, could be good or bad, right? All right, so the most important part of this, everybody grab the tennis ball, is the ability to do this. Okay, you guys, right? Remember, I call this the glide. So right there, when your arm is tucked in, your bone, your shoulder blade sticking out, isn't it? If you could feel it, you can feel it. There's a ridge there. I want the tennis ball to be right inside that ridge, right there. Not on the bone, not on the other side, right inside that ridge when you're down on the floor. So it looks like this. Okay, so you're going to get into a position where your knees are bent. Knees have got to be bent. This is an important part. Knees are bent. You're going to roll over. Let's say we're going to do the right shoulder blade first, okay? So we're going to take the ball under the right shoulder blade, and it's going to be a moment or two before you get the right spot, okay? Inside the bone, right? And once you're there, kind of square your hips again. And then, anybody feel it already? Right. Take your right arm and then start to make a circle backwards with your right arm. Anybody feel any juicy, interesting feelings in that right shoulder blade? Oh, yeah. And if that circle doesn't feel good, you guys, maybe lift your arm up a little bit over your head. Maybe take it off to an angle. I'm going to watch you. How's that feeling? If it feels like so bad but actually feels good, that's the feeling you want to have, you guys. Because what we're doing is we're breaking up tight muscle fibers. Keep your head on the ground, though, you guys. Yeah, if you can. Good. And rotate the shoulder the other way. Or lift your arm up and down. Just explore. You might even shift your weight of your body a little bit forward and backward, right? Like you're kind of sort of like grinding into that area. Yeah. The head is down, though, Alex. Yeah. And then, Alex, for you, maybe you lift your hips up like a bridge. Yeah. Then, oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Other arm. I was just testing you, Alex, to see how those shoulders were feeling. Okay, so you guys get the idea. This is a pose that I did a lot when I had my shoulder issues. So you're just rolling around into those connections, right? It's where the muscles attach to the bone. And those attachments could be super tight. They could be calcified. Roll around. If you don't feel it, like, oh, gosh, I want to go deeper, then lift your hips up a little bit. If you lift your hips up a little bit, it kind of gets a little more weight into that stretch. And usually your dominant arm is going to be a little bit tighter.
So Sherry's been having some challenges with her right shoulder. She's a yogi, and so we wanted to show you the pose that she gets into that shows her lack of range of movement. Let's do the good one first. So you can see in this position, the elbows up and also down, and the fingers are touching. Okay, release. And just hold there for a second. Okay, great. And now we're going to show you the other side. This is the left arm. And you can see one elbow's up, one elbow's down, but the fingers are far apart.
So by now you've seen my humerus deviation issue. And I've been working on it for quite a few years. So I want to show you what my Gomukhasana looks like these days on my right shoulder that had the humerus deviation. So here we go.
So you can see with my right arm, I've been able to bind, and I haven't been able to do that in many, many, many years. So with this right shoulder, see that movement? I've been able to play with that feeling now when I'm in Gomukhasana. So I can't easily wrap like I do on my left side. I have to be more mindful in that movement to pull that shoulder back into the socket as I wrap here, and then pulling it back, I can come up there and get that right in that spot with my humerus in the right place, and then again, I can touch. So there you go. It's doable.